Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from our space. Let's face it, when cheaters cheat, they don't think about their partners or their kids. So why would we let their selfish actions stop us from living our best lives? Today on our space, there's no stopping us. Up first, a gym brat. Fiance cheated on me in a gym. It's been nearly a year since it happened and I still haven't processed it properly. I thought I had met my dream girl. She honestly came across as the sweetest and most innocent person, but she was living a double life right under my nose. We had been engaged for a few months and were very excited about starting our life together. We were quite young, in our 20s. I was working my butt off in 2 jobs to get us set up financially. She had a job, but it was a small salary, and she was still studying on the side. I was extremely committed and wanted to give us a good life. We were trying to live a healthier lifestyle together by eating better and exercising regularly. The topic of getting a gym membership then came up. We discussed each getting a membership so we could go to the gym together. Anyway, then one day she told me out of the blue that she had signed herself up at a different gym instead of the original one we planned on going to. I didn't think too much of it and didn't mind. I thought it was a bit weird, but I was happy to gym alone at the original one. Her new gym was too far away from where I lived. We weren't living together. So a little while goes by, about a week. She's gone to the gym a few times. I've been nice, asked if she's enjoying it, etc. All seems okay. But she starts acting a bit weird. She's being distant and snappy, and I don't know why. A few days pass and it just gets worse. She starts becoming extremely aggressive towards me for no reason and wouldn't open up. This started to give me a very suspicious feeling, and I wanted to figure out what was going on. So I did some digging and remembered that she logged in on to her Instagram a while ago on my computer. I checked and thankfully still had access to her account. But what I found was horrifying. I found a long chat between her and a guy who worked at the gym. The chat spanned over a week or so and started fairly casual, like, "Thanks for helping me sign up," etc. But then it got very sexual, very quickly. I had to read about the things they wanted to do to each other, and then the things they did do to each other. And guess where they hooked up? In the gym's office. I was disgusted, shocked, and literally sick to my stomach. I phoned her immediately and told her what I found and that it was over. She first denied it, but when she realized I saw the chat, she just hung up on me. Also, I don't mean this in a nasty way, but the guy she hooked up with was really not a typically attractive guy. I'm a good-looking guy. Tall, green eyes, dark hair, and toned. She went for a slob over me, and I can't understand why. I then phoned her parents to tell them what happened. At first they said, "That's impossible. She's nothing like that." I then sent them the chat, and it took a while processing it. They tried to shift blame to me. They said I neglected her and was too busy with work. What the F? I was working hard to provide for her. She never took accountability and never even apologized to me. Haven't spoken to her since. It feels traumatic. Let's see what the community has to say. Consistent Patient 88 says, "She's trash. Thank your lucky stars you found out before you married her and had kids. Sorry you're going through that, OP." Sunshine and Gumdrops chimes in, "That guy will cheat on her, so don't worry, karma is beautiful." The OP replies, "I didn't even get to share the full story because it would have been too long. He was actually also in a relationship, and the fling with my ex didn't last long. Guess where my fiancé met her ex-boyfriend? At a different gym a few weeks later. Not even joking." Sunshine and Gumdrops replies back, "She needs validation through sex. Those types of people are sad, really. Imagine your body being your only value. Try this. Imagine the next time she hears about you or sees you out, you're living your best life without a single care in the world about her. She's only a speck of dust in your existence. That would truly sting her. Don't let her take up a prime real estate in your mind or heart. Someone else is waiting for that property." Irregular Bastard has a thought. "Remember when you marry a girl, you marry her family too. Clearly her parents think their little princess can do no wrong, so you dodged a few bullets. Just wait until she comes home pregnant and doesn't know who the father is. I'm sure her parents will make excuses and raise the baby." Darp Log says, "This is BS. Your in-laws or ex-in-laws are garbage just like her. I don't know what your relationship with them is like, but it looks like they didn't appreciate you, and she doesn't mind being a freaking cheater. She didn't even have the dang decency to apologize or explain why she did it. Even seeing how she acted, she would surely blame you after her affair. It's better to have found out being engaged than being married. I'm sorry you're going through that crappy feeling, OP. As for her, she can go to hell. Don't give her any chance, even if she begs or insists." Oh boy, I'm sorry, OP. You definitely aren't responsible for your ex or the choices she makes. Nor are you the reason why she chose to cheat on you. Seems like she definitely needed some validation, and was looking for that outside of the relationship. She needed quick ego boosts that were empty of any substantial substance. And by her parents' reaction, it seems like she never really had to take responsibility for any of her despicable actions. She's been enabled. She has her own ego demons that she needs to work on. Don't let this stop your journey for a healthier lifestyle. This is actually an excellent opportunity to cut out all the junk and toxicity from your life, including your ex, and really go on a cleanse of sorts. Do you have a similar story? What happened to your dream partner? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, a husband in the wrong marriage. I found my husband and sister together. Before I start, I want to apologize if the English isn't correct. Keep in mind that English isn't my first language. I, 40 female, and my husband, 42 male, have been married since I was 22 and he was 23. Up until now, our marriage has been perfect. We have a 12-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son together. But lately, I've been getting this weird feeling that my husband is in love with my sister. For short context, my sister, 43 female, has always hated me. Even though she was our parents' favorite growing up, she just had the hate for me and always took away things like, for example, when I was younger, I loved playing soccer and was good at it. When my sister found out, she also started playing soccer. She was good, but not better than me. Not to brag. One day, she injured her ankles and was told she couldn't play soccer for a long time, and somehow it was my fault. She told our parents, and being their favorite angle, they believed her and banned me from playing soccer ever again. She also stole my first boyfriend and bullied me in school, but I never said anything and mostly kept to myself. Back to now. I had the feeling that my husband was in love with my sister because when she and her husband got divorced, she called up my husband immediately and he went out without a second thought. That's how it always has been whenever she needs him. He's there with her without even a second thought. About 2 months ago, our 12-year-old daughter broke her arm and we went to the hospital with both me and my husband. My son was at his friend's place. We got home and my daughter asked if she could get McDonald's. And so I went out to get our daughter some McDonald's because she wanted it. And she also wanted her dad to stay with her. She has always been a daddy's girl. When I came back home, I found my husband on his way out with our daughter crying and begging him to stay. When I saw it quickly, I rushed over and asked what was happening. I found out he was going to my sister because she wasn't feeling well. And I asked him why he was going there when his daughter literally just broke her arm and he only answered, "Your sister needs me," and left. After that, I got super angry and packed a bag for me, my daughter, and my son, and went to stay at my aunt's place. She was the only one of my family that agreed that my sister was a brat, so I spent most of my childhood with her. 2 days after, I had to go back home because I forgot my work computer, and when I got there, I was shocked at what I saw. My husband and sister were on the couch of our family home doing the dirty work. When they both noticed me, they were quick to get their clothes back on, and my husband ran to me telling me that this wasn't what it looked like, and that it was all a misunderstanding. I stood there for a minute because I yelled back at him how he could have done this to me, and if I meant nothing to him, and I yelled that I want a divorce and left. When I got to my aunt's place, I went into the room I was staying in and broke down crying. I don't know what to do. I already told my aunt and she is furious. She told her parents and most of her family members even though I asked her not to. But at the same time, I'm happy she told them because I don't have the courage to do so. My husband and sister have been blowing up my phone with text messages, but I just ignore them. I don't know how I'm going to tell my kids. What do I do? I'm so sorry, OP. I think in a situation like this, it's okay to not want to speak or hear from these people for as long as you need. Your husband's reaction to your sister's divorce makes it seem as though they've been having a relationship under your nose for quite some time. Sometimes we're blind to the signs until it's too late. Take as much time as you need to process. The ball is in your court. Update 1, January 31st, 2023. Thank you guys so much for the support and love you guys sent to me. And I'm very happy for everything. And it makes me happy that even though I don't know you guys, I feel you guys so near. While I was on Reddit, someone asked me if I had a different body than my sister. And yes, I do. And she hated that I was skinnier than her and made sure to comment about my weight any opportunity she got. Here's an update. One side of me felt sad and wanted to forgive my husband for the kids' sake, but the other side felt anger and wanted revenge. I told my kids that things aren't working well at work. That was the reason for my sadness, which they believed I was glad because I still can't bring myself to tell them about their father. One thing I didn't mention in the other post was that my sister and her ex-husband, super hot husband and such a nice person, I'm so sorry, but it's the truth, got divorced because she had been mentally abusing him throughout their whole relationship, and she had just started physically abusing him, and that's when enough was enough for him, and he divorced her. Being the person that she is, she made a lie about how her husband was the one doing the abuse and all that BS. I contacted her ex-husband to have a talk with him, and I asked if he wanted revenge. He agreed and we made plans to meet up. We met up at a public cafe and talked together. We talked about how abusive she was, and how he too had the feeling that she had feelings for my husband. I also told him what I saw, and we decided to start with our revenge plan. We started with reporting my sister to the police for the abuse, and at first the officer was skeptical, but she had left a bruise on him, and he also had texts from her threatening him. They told us they were going to start on the case and advised us to get a lawyer and sent us home. After that, I started with taking out all the money we had on our shared account to my own. And since I owned the house, I was going to kick him out. I then got a lawyer and started the divorce process, which I knew was going to be a long and hard battle, but I was willing to do anything to get away from this disgusting man. Later that week, I sat my kids down and told them everything. My son was furious, but my daughter didn't believe me at all and told me I was lying, and I told her that even though she might think I'm lying, I'm not going to stop her from seeing her dad. Later that day, my aunt had gathered my parents and my husband's parents together with the both of them at her house, and I didn't know. I just got home from work to find them all there. Turns out my aunt finally had enough of my sister and told the whole family of what I had seen, and also that my sister had been in and out of jail, and my aunt was the one to bail her out each time. My parents were furious and started yelling about how much of a disappointment she was, and my mom gave her a tight slap and told her they never wanted to see her ever again. As for my husband's parents, they told him they never thought he could go that low, knowing his mom raised him as a single mom before she met his stepdad, who he called Dad. My daughter stood up and yelled at her dad, telling him how much she hates him and never wants to see him again before she ran up into the room she and her brother were sharing at my aunt's house and slammed the door after herself. My son gave him a disappointed look and followed his sister upstairs. My husband kneeled in front of me and begged for forgiveness, and I told him he had 2 days to pack his things and leave the house, or else I'll call the cops, and he started sobbing and begged me, saying he had nowhere else to go. His parents told him he wasn't welcome ever again in their house, never ever. I told him I didn't care and that I wanted a divorce, and at the end he said, okay, and left with red, teary eyes. 2 days later, I went home with my babies. They hadn't been to school since that talk and were having a hard time, especially my daughter. I sat them down and held them both in my arms, telling them we were strong and we were going to get through this no matter what. I'll always be there for them. They both broke down crying until they fell asleep. I woke them up to take them to their bed and went downstairs and had a breakdown myself. I couldn't ever show my kids how hard this was on me. I had to be strong for them. I heard the doorbell ring and thought it was my ex-husband, but it was my sister's ex-husband who came to visit. He sat me down and hugged me while I cried, telling him I couldn't do this on my own. He stayed the night, and when I woke up, he had made breakfast for me and my kids, and they seemed to enjoy him being there. He asked the kids if they wanted to go somewhere special with him, and they both gave him a shrug. I was about to tell him it's okay, but he talked the kids into it, and he finally agreed, running to their rooms to get ready. I gave him a big hug and told him thank you, and he hugged me back, telling me to take all the time I needed. For any confusion, they have always been close with Thomas, my sister's ex. When they left, I called up my lawyer and had a chat before meeting him. When I got home, I almost started crying at what I saw. I saw that Thomas had ordered their favorite takeout and was sitting on the sofa eating it, while my daughter was cuddled up on his side, eyes red from crying. I quietly got my shoes and jacket off before making my way into the living room with a huge smile on my face. My son ran up to me and gave me a big hug before we sat down and enjoyed our night together. I had a talk with my kids, and they agreed that we all should start seeing a therapist. Thomas helps talk them into it because he was also seeing one himself. My husband has been blowing up my phone with texts and calls, but I just blocked him. That's all I have. I'll update if anything happens, and my kids haven't talked to their dad since. I also cut off my parents. And I also got tested for STDs and was STD free. Again, thank you guys for the love and support. Yeah, even her own husband had a feeling something was up. I'm sure your sister was waiting for the day that he'd divorce her, just so she could use the victim card and take zero responsibility for her actions. Update 2, April 8th, 2023. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I last updated. I've been very busy with work, my kids, therapy, and just everything. I'll just start with how things are going. For me, it is going better, and I'm starting to feel good, all thanks to Thomas. My daughter has been trying her best. What I mean by that is sometimes she will come crying to me or Thomas talking about how much she hates her dad, and other times she will go crying to her dad wanting his comfort. I don't blame her and never will. It breaks my heart to see her suffering so much. All she wants is our family back together. I wish I could, but the damage has been done. Sometimes she gets episodes where she will go in a state where she can't really tell what is happening around her, and sometimes she slips up and calls Thomas Dad. Which is not a bad thing, but I would never date my sister's ex, no matter how much of a devil she is. I just can't. As for my son, he's been very close to his emotions. I sometimes find him crying to himself at night, and I just go in to hug him. We talk and I tuck him in and stay with him while he sleeps. This is the only way I can get to know how he is truly feeling because he never talks to me, no matter how hard I try. As for X, he broke things off completely with my sister and hasn't spoken to her. He got himself a good-paying job. He worked at his dad's company before all this and got fired from there. He also lives in a really nice house because he, for some reason, had been saving up just for in case knowing I would catch him and my sister one day. I know all this, though my daughter tells me everything. I don't press her. She always says she wants me to know what's going on in his life. My son does not speak with his father and never visits. I'm not going to force him. My ex has been trying to get in touch with me and sending me flowers and gifts. I accept them because I don't want to throw away stuff. It is just not me, and I still love him. It is not easy to let go of those feelings. From what I have heard, my sister lives in her car and works at a very low-paying job. One thing I want to make clear is that if my sister goes homeless, I'm going to help her because I just can't stand and watch her live in the street, knowing how dangerous our town gets at night. Thomas has been a great help for all of us. He's just so perfect in every way. One more thing about Thomas is that he found he is bi and started dating this guy named Logan not too long ago. Logan has been too much help, and my kids love them both. My daughter does not fully love them like my son, but she is getting closer every day. I've also started working out and eating better, trying to get in better shape. I met this dude. We've been talking and working out a lot together. He gives me the same spark that my exes gave me back when we were dating. I'm not saying that I'm going to start dating this dude, but he makes me really happy. My kids do not know about him yet. That's all for now. I will update if anything else happens. And again, thank you all so much for the love and support. It means the world to me. And I love you all so much. Ladies, even if your man cheats on you, it does not mean that you have to get out of shape and become depressed or sad. Sometimes it means that it is time for change, and it can be a good change. It's heartbreaking to hear about the consequences this has had on your children, OP. Your ex should have thought about them before being so selfish. Mini update, April 11th, 2023. Hey y'all, I posted an update not long ago, and one thing that I got a lot of attention was 1, me accepting a gift from my ex, and 2, helping my sister in the future. Let me start with the first one. The only reason I don't throw away the gift from him is because I hate the idea of throwing things that are perfectly good shape. Thomas gave me a good idea about going to a woman's shelter or orphanage and giving it away. He usually gives me flowers, teddies, or jewels, which I'm not gonna use, so I will be giving it away. Helping my sister, I don't mean inviting her into my house, but instead giving her money because in my country, it is extremely dangerous for a woman to be alone at night. That is only if my parents failed to help her. I know what she did was bad, but I can't stand and watch her get assaulted. Edit. Don't worry, I would never let the demon of a person close to young kids. Thomas, she ruined her life, and the only thing that will make sure is that she keeps her car, nothing else contact. I would because the people around me are more trauma than they already have. As for my ex and name, we have no future together, and I am gonna make sure he gets that through his thick skull. Someone said that my daughter might be telling on me to her dad, which I hope she is. I want him to know how much better we are doing without him. And as for the money he saved up, I don't want it. I have a high-paying job, and my babies always get what they need, when they need it, so we don't need his help or his filter money. That was all. I may update, not sure. Have a wonderful day for you guys, and again, thanks for the support. You guys don't even know how much you guys help me. The fact that you're willing to help your sister after all that she's done to you and your kids speaks volumes of how different you are from her. You're a good person, OP, and you and your family didn't deserve any of this. That being said, it is also nice to know that you're moving on from this and your heart remains open to love. Wishing you, your family, and Thomas all the best, OP. What do you make of this? Thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We hate for you to miss out. If you want to listen to more stories from me, check out our lounge, where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related stories. See you there.